Hello, good evening, namaskar, and sat sri akal. I am Ajit Kumar Jha, the editor of the Public Global and the CEO of Power Pixar. And today our focus is going to be destination Bihar. And the reason are twofold. One, in the last few days, some quite a lot of developments have happened in Bihar, which I'll mention briefly. And second, all of you know that Bihar is going to have the election this year. In fact, Bihar is the only state that is going to have election this year, and all eyes are focused on Bihar. The election is due in October, November. You might have seen Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The last almost 3 days he was in Bihar. In fact, right after Gujarat, when he started campaigning on Operation Sindoor, moved to Bengal, and then came to Bihar. And in Bihar, he spent almost 2-3 days, moved around the entire state, did several programs, and he, in fact, also inaugurated the Patna airport, then the Beta airport, which is about 30 to 40 kilometers from Patna, and then several other projects. He went around the state spending, allocating a lot of funds for several projects, a development focus. Now, by the way, this is the third visit of Prime Minister Modi to Bihar recently. Equally, Rahul Gandhi, he has been concentrating on Bihar. I have never seen Rahul Gandhi spend so much time on a state as he has been doing on Bihar. Several trips, then he has ended up revamping the entire Congress party in Bihar. You have new leaders there. In fact, a lot of talk has, a lot of media has covered that. Kanhaiya Kumar is his favorite candidate there, who already did a yatra there. But today the focus is not there. Why is it that I am focusing on Bihar, and what is my angle? My angle is the central question that everyone asks: caste and Bihar. And I want to break this myth that Biharis, people from Bihar, vote caste. That is the general impression you have, people who know Bihar superficially, or people who do not understand the politics behind Bihar, or people who have a certain elitist notion of caste as, that really backward sort of institution of India, which should be done away with. Many people believe that if we get rid of caste, India will become a developed country. So that kind of mindset thinks that all Biharis who are backward, who are not very educated, who are poor, they vote caste. So I want to break the myth of that. And yet, I wanted to start with two events, as I said. Let me start with the latest. Chirag Paswan. Most of you know that Chirag Paswan is a Lok Sabha MP and a union minister from Bihar. He is the son of the well-known Dalit leader Ram Vilas Paswan, who unfortunately is no more. And in fact, what is the reason I'm talking of Chirag Paswan? Because his party leader, his party is the Lok Janshakti Party, Ram Vilas, and one of his party leader, Arun Bharti, who is actually a member of parliament from Jamui, has today itself pointed out that Chirag Paswan should contest as a member of Legislative Assembly. Remember, he's already the Lok Sabha MP, he's already a minister at the center, and yet they want him to contest as MLA. And from where Arun Bharti pointed out that Chirag must not contest from a reserved scheduled caste constituency, but from a general constituency. And what is the reason? Because the entire Lok Jan Shakti Party feels, and Chirag Paswan's supporters, that he is not only a Dalit leader, that he should aim to become the next chief minister of Bihar. It is almost like Prashant Kishor. Prashant Kishor, another young man like Chirag Paswan, Jan Swaraj Party. Everyone in the media knows him because all the time there are programs on him. He also aims, he keeps talking about transforming Bihar, but he also aims to become the next chief minister, hopefully, although he never says that, but obviously that is the ambition. They both Chirag Paswan and uh, in this case, other sort of challengers, they all want to replace Nitish Kumar, who has been a chief minister for the last 20 years. So let me first go back to that point I wanted to make about caste, that myth that Bihar, all of Bihar votes on caste. Let me start with Nitish Kumar. Nitish Kumar comes from a caste of Kurmis. And what is the percentage population of Kurmis in Bihar? 2.8785, which is less than 3%. Think of it. Nitish Kumar comes from a caste in Bihar which has less than 3% vote, and yet he has been the chief minister of Bihar continuously almost for last 2 decades. The only time he was not the chief minister because he made Majhi at one time one of his supporters as the chief minister. He was experimenting for a little bit more than 1 year. But and even then, Nitish Kumar was trying to control the government, remote control. But otherwise, from 2005 until today, Nitish Kumar has been the CM of Bihar in a way, and he is contesting again this time to be the next CM for the next 5 years. Now, think of it, a caste from a Kurmi base, less than 3%. Similarly, let me point out in the past history, Babu Jagjivan Ram. Babu Jagjivan Ram, a scheduled caste leader, a lot of people would say a great Dalit leader after Ambedkar. He came from a caste of, you can give it various names. It's called, it's a scheduled caste. It's called Ravidas, Redas, or some people use the word chamar for it, those who work on chambra, which is leather. Now, Babu Jagjivan Ram was perhaps the tallest Bihari ever, because not only he was continuously minister in the central cabinet with all important portfolios, things like defense and others, he also ended up becoming a deputy prime minister under the Janata Party. Now, no Bihar politician has ever become a deputy prime minister. None have become a minister. So again, Babu Jagjivan Ram from a caste which barely has 5% votes, but ends up dominating Bihar politics from the time of independence until his death. So this is another great point of data which shows you that it's not in the conventional sense when people think Biharis vote for caste. So here are these great leaders from Bihar. Let me take up 2 more names quickly. Jayaprakash Narayan. One would argue Jayaprakash Narayan was the best prime minister India never had, or the best chief minister Bihar never had. He was a great leader. Remember how he inspired the student movement in 1974-75 and brought down Indira Gandhi's government, created in a way the Janata Party, inspired the formation of the Janata Party. Jayaprakash Narayan, and at the same time, the first president of India, both of them came from the same community of caste. And the caste community, which is probably the most literate community in Bihar and in the rest of the country, Rajendra Prasad, I'm talking about, the first president of India, and also a Bihari. Both of them came from the caste community, and the caste community probably has the same percentage vote as that of the Kurmis. Very, very small percentage vote. And yet, these two leaders were the tallest leaders from Bihar. As I said, Rajendra Prasad was the president of India, and Jayaprakash Narayan, one can call one of the tallest moral leaders after Mahatma Gandhi. So the point I was trying to make here, that it's not caste that people vote for, but let me point out that there are two aspects to look at caste. And one aspect is caste as a category where you end up marrying, endogamy, and ritual hierarchy. That is a separate aspect of caste. The whole question of untouchability is kind of linked to that to some extent. And this whole business of Louis Dumont, the great French sociologist, wrote a really thick book for those who want to know that aspect of caste. Ritual hierarchy, mind you, not economic hierarchy or social hierarchy. Louis Dumont even talks of things like why Hindus in general, not only Bihar, but all over India, why do they only eat with their right hand, not with their left hand? And he talks about, the mixture of organic and the inorganic. I can go on in details because I studied Louis Dumont, but not for this particular video. And then there is another aspect of caste which interests me as a journalist, as a political commentator, and that is the notion of caste coalitions that political parties build. So that is something which initially, for example, Congress built the caste coalition of upper caste, mainly Brahmins and Dalits, scheduled castes, and the Muslims. And that was a coalition which was a winnable coalition in the whole of India and also in Bihar. I can go at length about that, but let me just focus that changed somewhat. And you know that in the last 35 years, OBC leaders, Lalu Prasad Yadav, leader of RJD, his wife Rabri Devi, and Nitish Kumar have been the chief ministers for the last 35 years. 20 years almost Nitish Kumar, and before that, for 15 years, Lalu Prasad Yadav of the RJD and his wife, and whose son is Tejaswi Yadav, and his wife Rabri Devi. Rabri Devi of Lalu Prasad Yadav's wife. So the OBCs have dominated Bihar politics. And their caste coalition, most people know that Lalu Yadav's caste coalition is basically Yadavs, which constitute a bulk of the population, almost close to 15%, and then Muslims, which is again a bulk of the population, very big, and Dalits. That was the winnable coalition. Muslims, different kind of assessment, but I would say close to 17%. So there you go, solid vote bank. And the third, as I said, Dalits. Now, what happened? That the Congress coalition broke, and when it broke, it ruptured. The upper castes migrated to the BJP, and the Muslims and the Yadavs, they migrated to the RJD. Then came Nitish Kumar, who built a different class alliance. As I said, the Kurmi caste is merely 3%, but he made a great caste alliance of three communities: the Pasmanda Muslims, which are the backward Muslims. And by the way, that's the majority of Muslims in Bihar. So he made a dent inside the Pasmanda Muslims, and the Mahadalit, and at the same time, the Ati Pichda, or what we call in English, the most backward. And this coalition was designed by Nitish Kumar and the JDU leaders for a long time, even when he was in Samta Party, when he started the Samta Party, he was working on it. And somehow that coalition worked very well. All the various programs of the government were used to enrich that community, to empower that community is probably a better word, because most of them are very poor. Now, Nitish Kumar has been a great caste coalition creator. In fact, another recent event that took place that I wanted to discuss, but we don't have the time to discuss in details, is that Nitish Kumar has ended up forming upper caste development commission. And now he had formed the upper caste development commission back in 2011. Right now, in the last week, in fact, just last 2-3 days, he has reconstituted the upper caste development commission. The BJP leader Mahachandra Singh has become the chairman. Rajiv Ranjan Prasad, the JDU national spokesperson, has become the vice chairman. And then there are 3 members, and see the names. You can make out from the names they belong to different castes, right? Dayanand Rai, Jai Krishna Jha, and Rajkumar Singh. Now, these are the people who has constituted part of the new commission. Now, just a few words on this. Remember, the Upper Caste Development Commission was formed in 2011, and they submitted the report in about 2.5 years. And I have talked to, and I'm talking about recently, like last 2-3 days, I have talked to 2 of their leaders who were members of that commission. Shri Narendra Singh, who is a politician and a real intellectual. He comes from Saharsa, and he has contested elections in the past from Baheri. And then another BJP leader called Sanjay Mayukh, who was also part of the commission, but he was for a shorter period. He joined in 2011, but remember, by 2014, 2015, Nitish Kumar changed sides, came over and formed an alliance with Lalu Prasad Yadav. So Mayukh, being from the BJP, he had to leave the commission. But Narendra Singh continued in that commission until about 2017. And they told me that the purpose of, the report was filed, and what did the report and the recommendations, what did finally it came to? Well, some scholarships were provided to upper caste poor children whose parents had salary less than 1.5 lakh annually. Other than that, they could not do anything. Although I was informed by Narendra Singh that 500 crores were spent. Now, the ADRI in Patna, Asian Development Research Institute, did a survey, and that survey report was very revealing. I'll probably do another video which will point out things in details about what is the pathetic condition of the upper castes. But right now, just let me point out that some of the major findings of that commission is quite shocking, and those are that 55% of upper castes in Bihar have less than 1 acre of land. Remember, 55%. So the majority who are engaged in agriculture of upper castes have less than 1 acre of land. So this myth again that the upper castes are very rich is pure nonsense. Number 2, 36% of upper castes in Bihar live below the poverty line, and there are no jobs. In fact, there was the survey pointed out that there were no jobs, not enough land, no government jobs, certainly, because once you are an upper caste, you don't end up getting subsidized government provided jobs. And the migration in upper caste is as bad as in the other castes, like, for example, the MBCs the Dalits, the scheduled caste. So the point I wanted to make here is that despite a focus on the condition of upper caste from 2011, it's an utter failure of the administration that all they have done is merely some scholarship to upper caste students whose parents have salary less than 1.5 lakh. Nothing else has been done. Now, so why did they reconstitute the commission? I asked, and the answer given was that, well, now they are going to consider the important question of reservation for upper castes. And what was the purpose behind the Upper Caste Development Commission? The idea was to survey and find out what the condition of upper castes were. And as I told you the figures, it's equally pathetic. In fact, some people who were surveyed pointed out that conditions was worse than the poorest of the poor in Bihar, worse than the workers, worse than the majdoors, and which is quite true. In fact, all this nonsense that you hear, upper castes are very rich, others are very poor, it's nothing like that. The survey that Nitish Kumar as Chief Minister pointed out did in 2022 and came up with a detailed study. It was a survey, by the way, not a census, as the BJP government has finally agreed. Pressure from Rahul Gandhi, pressure from Congress party, pressure from all around to consider caste as as very important. Reluctantly, the BJP, after a lot of debate, has finally agreed to a caste census. But let me point out, this is a caste survey, and there is a big difference. Again, we can go into details in another video, but the whole idea is that caste as a political instrument of mobilization, especially from the time of the Janata Party, especially from the time of the anti-emergency movement, because Karpuri Thakur was the first chief minister in Bihar between 78 and 80 who came up with what we call the Mandal Commission report, which became a national issue later on under Vishwanath Pratap Singh when he was the prime minister. And the fight started in the Hindi heartland, starting from Bihar, between what we call the Kamandal forces, the BJP, and the Mandal forces, the socialists, who thought in order to understand poverty, unlike the Marxists who believed that class is the main category, one should look at caste. But they did not, people like Lohia, JP, and others, they did not argue that caste, small bits of caste. The argument was that caste is an institution in India which more or less works like class. And the interesting thing is that at the end of it, if you look at the survey report of 2022, the very, very comprehensive survey of Bihar that Chief Minister Nitish Kumar had ordered, and which then became a great sort of weapon in the hands of Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party, who adopted it. And now Rahul Gandhi is talking about the Telangana model rather than the Bihar model. But what it points out is that caste has helped build coalitions and what I would call a massive movement from below, especially in states like Bihar, which has changed the nature of elite. Let me compare Bengal and Bihar. In Bengal, you had the CPM ruling earlier, and now you have Mamata Banerjee's Trinamool ruling today. But the elite is always the Bhadro Lok in Bengal. And Bhadro Lok is a combination of upper caste. Why? Because Bengal did not quite have a movement from below based on caste mobilization like Bihar or even UP, but certainly Bihar, where the Mandal forces were so strong, led by the socialists and later by people like leaders like Lalu Prasad Yadav, who came in 1990 and changed the entire sort of social, I would say, paraphernalia of Bihar. and later on Nitish Kumar. And the situation is such that upper caste politicians who are ambitious, they are afraid of entering politics, because politics, they feel, is almost cornered by the OBCs, the other backward caste. However, people like Prashant Kishor, who again belongs to the Brahmin community, his name is actually Prashant Kishor Pandey, he has entered the fray. And now Chirag Paswan, as I pointed out in the beginning of the debate, who is actually a central minister, a Lok Sabha MP, wants to enter the fray as chief minister, because it seems that even though the main fight at this moment seems to be between the Mahagathbandhan led by Tejasvi Yadav, Lalu Yadav's son, and Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, the NDA led by Nitish Kumar and the BJP, the main fight is there. But somehow there is space, it seems, for these new entrants. In the past also, some entrants had tried in the last election, for example, in 2020. But on this occasion, 2025, these new youngsters, some of them are fairly strong in their own pockets, like Chirag Paswan. Don't forget, his party, which barely started recently, won 5 seats. They contested 5, they won all 5. And Prashant Kishor, about whom there is a lot of discussion on the media. So the idea is, will these youngsters challenge the earlier leaders who are seen as OBC leaders? But let me come to the final point that I wanted to make, that in Bihar, caste is an important institution which formed with its marriage with politics, and the movement from below transformed the entire nature of elite of Bihar. And the elite, which one used to be at one time dominated by upper castes, they kind of moved away from the state, and they created an enormous space where the OBC leaders have been ruling for the last 35 years. Now, the important question is, will a Dalit leader like Chirag Paswan, who doesn't want to contest from a reserved seat, but from a general seat, will he be, he hopes to be the next chief minister, or a Prashant Kishor Pandey, an upper caste leader? The entire thing will open as the campaign picks up. We'll see for ourselves which way, the political weather is moving. But finally, let me come to the point that it's a myth to say that Bihar people vote caste. Biharis vote, like everywhere else in India, strategically. And strategic voting is when you vote for a political coalition which you think is winnable, whose ideology you agree with, whose policies you agree with. So Biharis vote as much for winnable coalitions, caste, class, religion, and other communities, gender, exactly like the rest of India. We'll make many such more programs on this big institution called caste, but this is my final conclusion. Biharis, for Bihar, caste is important, as it is for Karnataka, as it is for Tamil Nadu, as it is for Gujarat, as it is for the rest of the Hindi heartland and other states of India. But this is a different notion of caste to what we have in mind. This is not the notion of marrying into your own community. This is not the notion of ritual hierarchy. This is a notion where you try to do a survey and find out who's rich, who's poor, who's more educated, who's less educated, which castes, and then make policies trying to cater to those communities which are left behind, and at the same time trying to gather their votes to form the next government. Thank you very much.